This is number one, the most important thing for me about working out. Yes, the health benefits are great, looking better is great, all that stuff's fine, but what's going on, y'all? Today we're going to be talking about my top 3 reasons why working out will change your life for the better. So before we get into it, please like the video and hit subscribe. It really does help me a ton. And with that, let's get into it. All right, so I really wanted to make this video because working out has really changed my life for the better. And so many people I know who I've tried to get into working out, it's really, really improved their lives. And with that, I really want to share it with you guys. And one of my big goals when I started this channel, one of the driving reasons why I wanted to make it was actually because I want to get as many people working out and in the gym as humanly possible, because I think it provides so many benefits. It's provided me so many, and I really want to share it with you guys so everybody in the world can be lifting weights. And I don't want anybody to feel like they can't do it because they're too old, too young, don't have enough time, they don't have enough resources, whatever it ends up being. I really want to make sure that everybody knows that no matter what situation you're in, you can do some sort of weight training and it's going to really improve your life regardless of who you are. Alrighty, so for the number one tip, I think this is actually one of the most surprising ones that even though some people hear about it, they don't realize how impactful it really is. And it's going to be the effect it has on your mental health when it comes to like fighting depression and making you just happier, making you feel like you're more goal oriented, making you just feel better about yourself. This is number one, the most important thing for me about working out. Yes, the health benefits are great, looking better is great, all that stuff's fine, but it's one of those things where a lot of people really do treat working out as a type of therapy. And it sounds funny because like you would never think like working out therapy, that's not how it works. It's the least thing that I want to do. But for people who really get into the gym, it really does become their favorite time of the day. And it's the time where they can really clear their mind and just think about what they're doing in that moment. And it really does help people a ton. So I actually have a funny story about this whole entire thing when it comes to working out being a type of therapy. So I was having an argument with my girlfriend one time. You know, it happens. But it was one of those days where I hadn't actually worked out yet. And so we're going through this argument, and my girlfriend actually says to me at one point, she's like, have you worked out yet today? And I was like, no, I haven't worked out yet. No, she was like, go work out and then come back and then we'll kind of have a talk about it again. And it really was one of those things where it's funny to think about because it's like we're in the middle of an argument. You wouldn't think that she would send me to the gym or whatever and think that would change anything. But really, as soon as I did go work out, I felt way better, cleared my head a lot more. I could be way more constructive about what we were arguing about, and therefore we could come to a much better conclusion than whenever I'm just all heated in the moment and I haven't worked out. So I feel like it really does help you let out a lot of like the stress that you have in your body, so you're not all tight and worked up about whatever's going on in your life. And of course, whenever I did come back from working out, everything was better and things went a lot more smoothly the next time we talked about it. All right, and then one, we can't really get around it. It's one of probably the most obvious one is you just look better. Whenever you go lift weights, you're gonna look a lot healthier, you're gonna look a lot more fit, and you're gonna look just much better overall. Weight training is really what gets people, what most people would consider their ideal physique. I think a lot of people have this misinterpretation that they don't want it. I've heard it from so many people. I cannot stand it. Whenever people tell me, oh, I don't want to get too big, I don't want to look all too bulky. I don't want to get too much like this, too like this. Boys and girls, both of them will say the same exact thing where they don't want to be too bulky. They just want to be toned, whatever it ends up being. And you actually get the look of being toned from working out. You don't like. It's crazy to me that people think that you touch a weight and then boom, you inflate to being super massive. This is not how it works. You have to have, first off, absolutely ungodly genetics. If you already just want to be put on and look super, super massive, if you want to be really big, like a bodybuilder or something like that, it takes years and years and years. It takes normally like 10 years, I think is what a good number is before you can develop like a really, really good looking physique. And that's for the peak like genetic freaks. So when it comes to like bodybuilders like Ronnie Coleman or Chris Bumstead, people like that, where those physiques, they have ungodly genetics, be massive and look absolutely insane, but also it takes a long, long time of dieting, hard work, and a very specific way of doing things for them to get that big. But for 99.9999% of the people going to the gym, you're not going to be that big. Like, you're going to look fit and you're going to look like you're toned, you're going to look a little bit more athletic, but you're not going to get super massive. The only way you get that way is normally if you're juicing, either if you're juicing or if you decide to do this for 10, 15 years of constantly trying to push the boundaries of getting bigger, of dieting, bulking, trying to eat more food. But for majority of people, if you're just going to the gym casually to try and get stronger, try to work on looking a little bit better, then you're not going to get super massive. You're going to look a lot more of how you want to look like, which is more athletic, fit, toned, stuff like that. And one more thing to go along with this is, when I say looking better, some people will tell me, oh, why don't I just go run, or why don't I just go do cardio to look how I want to look? And that's because whenever you run or you do cardio, you're not going to be building the muscle, and that doesn't really give you that toned look that most people, I think, want. Some people say that, oh, they just want to lose weight, but really that's not always the case, because when you lose weight, sometimes you just look malnourished, all right? Like for people who just go do a ton of cardio, all what ends up happening to a lot of people is they just lose, they will lose fat, don't get me wrong, but what ends up happening is they just look too skinny, they're kind of like a twig, and so they end up not being happy exactly with how they look, even though they lose the amount of weight that they wanted to. And it's still great that they lost the weight, but there's still a numerous amount of benefits that you would gain from lifting weights during your weight loss instead of just doing cardio. All right, and then the third we're gonna be talking about is health benefits. So this is obviously a major one. I think it's even more important now after going over the pandemic and all that bullshit. The importance of your health is absolutely crucial when it comes to your longevity and just how you feel overall on a day-to-day basis. So one thing that's really had my eyes open to how much I want to make sure that I'm focusing on losing weight, staying healthy, lifting weights, stuff like that, is I worked in a retirement home actually for about 2 years while I was going through my first part of college. And one of the big things I learned is you see the negatives of not being in shape long term. So this is something where, like, for me, I plan on working out to the day I die, right? Like you hear people like Arnold say, you hear all these bodybuilders say it, but I really do plan on trying to stay as healthy as I can and lifting weights until I die, because you really see, whenever you're looking at these older people who are, they're just way overweight, they can't move by themselves, they don't have any strength, they just have to be helped moved everywhere, they gotta piss in a bag, shit in a bag, all this stuff, right? Like you realize, at least for me personally, I went through a mind shift change where, like, I do not want to be like that. And sometimes some people think that, oh, that's just how it's going to happen. Like no matter what you do, you're going to be old, or you're going to be decrepit like that. You're going to always be in pain. You're going to have chronic pain whenever you're an old person. You're going to have to always have people help you. But I actually, someone in my neighborhood I would work out with him sometimes. He was this older guy. He was like 70, 75, 80 years old guy, but he went to the gym almost every single day. He was working on, I think, 5 days, super intense with it. He was one of those old fashioned guys who take a notebook and write down his workouts, progressive overload, even until he's 75. And he was mentally sharp, physically looked great, especially for a 75-year-old. It was absolutely insane. And I talked to him a little bit about why he wanted to do it. And the reason why is because he wanted to stay sharp. He wanted to stay fit. He wanted to keep the way he looked. And also, of course, and he didn't want to end up like somebody who is sitting in a wheelchair, or somebody who just can't help. They need help getting out of bed. They need help wiping their own. And now he's more fit than a majority of people who are 30, 40 years younger than him, regardless of the fact whether or not he's old. So with the health benefits, another thing that's really helpful when it comes to weight training specifically over any other type of exercise is weight training also gives you a lot of big health benefits overall for transitioning into your day-to-day type of life, if that makes sense. So for example, right, whenever you're lifting weights, one thing that's really helpful is you're building muscles and you're strengthening tendons so that you don't tear stuff. Because you see this happen with people who, they don't lift weights, but they still end up, tear something in their back. They throw out, they tear something in their knee or anything like this. What ends up happening is the big reason why they get these injuries is because they haven't worked on strengthening those specific things. This is also why whenever I train, I also have certain days where I'll dedicate to working on tendons, working on making sure I have good flexibility, because I have had those injuries in the past. But being able to strengthen them has helped me a lot. Because when it comes to day-to-day life, your whole life isn't lifting weights at the end of the day. You can't get around it. But what you will have to do a lot of times is you'll have to move furniture, you'll have to move boxes, you have to do moving stuff, you have to reach up to grab stuff, you have to jump down from places. And the best way you can prevent injury from doing all these different activities is weight training effectively, making sure you're doing multi-plane training so that whenever you go into doing these different types of day-to-day activities, you've built the strength in those tendons so that you don't injure yourself. All right, so just to do a quick recap of my top 3 reasons on why you should be doing weight training and why it will completely change your life. It is going to be, the mental benefits are absolutely insane. 2, you're obviously going to look better. The way you want to look for most people, at least, is going to be through weight training. And then number 3 is going to be health benefits. There are so many health benefits when it comes to lifting weights. If you guys want to hear more about, and specifically when it comes to going over different types of studies or something like that, talking about all of these amazing health benefits of weight training, let me know in the comments below, because I think it'd be a really interesting video to talk about. But those are my top 3 reasons why weight training will change your life. I really hope you guys got something from this. I hope if you haven't been in the gym yet or you're thinking about it, you end up going now because of listening to this video. But if you guys like this fitness content, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Talk to you in the next one. Peace.